Oh yeah, well, like I say, in France. I'm at a lake called Laroussi. Never been here before. I've actually been here. This is the second full day now. I got here Saturday afternoon, but the journey here, I've set off just at 2:30 from home in the morning, and the journey here was absolutely horrendous. Not traffic and that, the rain. The amount of spray coming up on the motorways and people without their lights on was unbelievable. You'll come hurtling down the motorway and all of a sudden there's a car stuck in front of you in the spray. It was just unreal. And then from the time I got here, it eased a little bit luckily while I put the bivvy up, and then the next thing, there was a cloud burst and I had a river running through the swim, and it just continued to rain for the rest of the day, most of the night, and it rained all day yesterday as well, so I ain't been able to get the camera out or nothing. I've actually had 2 carp and a tiny little cat. The first carp was Saturday night in the rain. That was 42.5. I couldn't even get a picture of it. It was so much rain I couldn't damn bring the cameras or nothing out. And then yesterday I had one about 7:30 French time. I had a 41. So I've had 2 40s. Well, I got some pictures of that on my phone. I just took a chance on it and got a couple of pictures on my phone because it was still raining, but it wasn't that bad. It was still like the fine rain. And then this morning, as you can see, it's glorious. So hopefully the weather's going to be a bit kinder to me now. Obviously everything's all set up in the swim and that. Been drying a load of stuff out. I've even still got my bivvy bag and overwrap bag are still stuck in the tree up there drying out. But is what it is, isn't it, you know? But at least I'm here, I'm fishing. I've had a couple of fish, so I ain't got to do the walk of shame. And we're just going to have to see what happens as from now on. I'm going to just go and make a cup of tea now, and I'll get back to you in a while and let you know if anything happens. Meantime, I'll show you what I'm doing, where my spots are, etc. and give you a look at the lake. Right, well, this is the view from my swim. I'm on, what you could say is the south bank probably. You can only really fish along this bank, just over there where the willow is. There's a swim over there, there's a lad in there, and then all that other bank opposite you can't fish. There's no swims on that bank, and then it comes round, and as it goes round you see that that's where Mendy, the fella that owns it, his house is over on that other side there. And then it comes round and there's a point which is, we'll get round to in a sec. It's right, you've got, that's it there, that's the point. That's a swim there, it's a double. They're virtually all doubles. And then down to the left, to the right of that, sorry, there's like a little arm that goes down there that's also a part of the lake. There's one swim down there which can be fished as a single or a double. It's quite a long swim actually, but luckily I got this swim. You sort of, I would say you're a bit boxed in down there really. Then you've got down the side of there, to my right, there's 2 swims to my right, and those 2 swims to my right, they're both singles, but they fish that water there, so all that water to my right, those 2 swims fish. I've heard that the furthest one down, which is the one nearest to that arm over there, they say that no one seems to fish it. I don't know if that's true or not, I'm just what I've heard. And then the next swim along from those 2 doubles is my one, and then which my one's sort of out in open water, but for me that was the best choice. I really fancied that, so I was lucky with that. And then to my left there's just that swim over what I showed you by the willow, then one more swim to my left that's sort of quite raised up a bit above the water. It's almost on like a sort of a plateau. I mean, you can go down to the water, alright, there's got like a little bit where you can climb down, but I found this one much easier, much better to land fish and obviously to weigh them, because in that one next to my left, if you get in there, you've got to come up like a little path to, because you can't get your weigh tripod and all that down there unless you put it all in the water. But it slopes off quite quickly here as well, so you know, it probably could be a bit tricky, especially during the night. So alright, if there's two of you in there, I suppose you can carry it up. Right, that little ring you can see there, which is that is what Mendy made them. Every swimmer's got one of them, and what it is, if you catch a catfish, you've got to put them in there because he's taking them out. He says there's too many in here. He's trying to keep the balance of the lake. You have to take catfish out, and he said there's a couple of real big ones in here, sort of 180 pound. He said you obviously can't put them in here because they're about 8 foot long, but anything else you catch catfish wise, what you do, there's a in the little lodge down there where the facilities are, you, as a phone number, and what you do, you text him, tell him you've got a catfish, and he comes round and gets them. And also, if you catch a grass carp, anything under 46 pound, you have to tell him, and he comes and collects them as well. If it's during the night with a grass carp, you have to put it in a retaining sling, and then just text him in the morning, and he'll come round and get it in the morning. But because it's the eco balance of the lake, like he's trying to get it all, so everything's he says it's a little bit out of balance at the moment, and he obviously wants to keep the carp as big as possible, because you know, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, isn't it? So yeah, when I was looking online, I couldn't find, there's a couple of videos that Mendy's done himself, but they're only like a minute or two long. I couldn't find any sort of videos on it on YouTube or anything on this lake. There don't seem to be anything on Facebook, you know, where people chat about it, where they've been there and that. So I don't know why that is, but so far I found it all right. I came out with angling lines. Well, very, very good, I've got to say. They keep you informed all the time, and everything seems to work like clockwork with them. We went with them last year. We had a lake exclusive for a place not far from here actually, called Verminghi, and we had it between 8 of us to lake, 35-acre lake, and we absolutely smashed it. I mean, everybody had fish. We all had good fish. Blimey, I've just seen the first fish jump over there. It was just over the other side there by that, just to the right there, just underneath that tree there, just there. And that is the first show I've seen since I've been here. I ain't seen nothing other than that. So that's a good sign. Maybe they're getting about a bit. Looked from here, I mean, whether it was or not, it's a bit far off to tell. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably getting on for 150 yards over there, I should think. It looked like, to me, like it was a grass carp. It was that long silver shape, you know, quite light coloured. So I'm assuming that's what it was. I mean, the two mirrors I've had out of here, had a couple of scales on them. Nothing fantastic. They had that short mouth on them as well, you know, that some of them you get, then you where their mouth extends, a long extension, but they both are quite short ones. Hopefully I'm going to get some more to show you. Now I've got everything set up and this weather's calmed down, I can bring the cameras out and that without getting everything ruined. I mean, it's not that I've got fantastic expensive gear, but at the same time I don't particularly want it ruined in the rain, you know. So we'll see. I'm going to do some breakfast in a minute because I'm starving now, and hopefully I'll have something to tell you later on. I'll show you the mix I'm doing and all that later on as well, what I've done bait wise and what tactics I'm using, etc. So I'll catch you later. Right, well, just cooking up a bit of grub, and in here I've got a 24-pound smelly cat. I'll just give you a quick look at it, and I'm going to put it in where it has to go. There it is. Big smelly bugger. Right, what I've got to do is put it in the what I've got to do now is put it in the ring out there, which I'm going to go and do now. So I'll say goodbye for a minute, and I'll be back in a tick. Right, well, yeah, not exactly what I wanted, but you know, you can't choose what picks the bait up, can you? But at least it's a fish. I put up a pretty good scrap actually for its size. I've put it in there now. Just text Andy, told him that it's in there, so he can come and collect it. And typical, innit? I was just cooking up some grub, and I got one single beep, just a tiny little beep, and then about 5 minutes later it just absolutely screamed off. It's and the bites have been a bit strange here, to be fair. The carp have sort of been very similar. You get like a tiny little beep, and then a few minutes later off it goes. In fact, that second carp I had, the one yesterday evening, the 41, I thought that was a cat. All the way in it seemed like a cat. Even when it was fighting it, like near the margin, it seemed like a cat. Then all of a sudden I see it roll, and I thought, Jesus, it's a carp. But that put up a right old fight, that did. It took me about 35 minutes to get that one in. But at the end of the day, fish is a fish. That's 4 fish now, 2 carp, 2 cats. Hopefully some more carp. I'm going to finish off cooking my grub now, and I'll catch you soon. Hopefully with a carp this time. Right, I've got a chunk here. It's over 50. I'm going to try and lift it. Whether I can or not, I don't know. But I am going to give it my best shot, because it's worth it. It's put up a hell of a fight. Unbelievable. Beautiful fish. There we go. Come on. Come on. Yeah. There we go. It's about 52. Take my picture. Take my picture. Right. That's all I can do, lads. That is fucking heavy. But sorry about doing it, but I've only got that selfie thing. I'm gonna get this back. I'll tell you the exact weight in a sec. It's come out at 54.5 with the sling. So, and I ain't got it 0 to the sling because I've got 2 slings here, and they're both different weights. So I'm gonna get this old girl back in, and then I'll let you know what the exact was when I take the weight of the sling off. Well, I've got the sling now on the scales. They go £4, so that's £50 8 ounces. That was. I mean, this is unbelievable, isn't it? I've had 3 carp now, nothing under £40, and them 2 cats. Well, if the carp keep coming like that, I'll suffer the cats. But yeah, what a touch, eh? Right, I'm still trying to cook my grub. Obviously they don't want me to have it, and there has been a lot of fish showing over the area that I've been baiting this afternoon, and I ain't seen fish. Today is the first time I've seen fish, so hopefully there's going to be some more to come. Right, I'm going to go and try and cook this grub now. Catch you later. Right, thought I'd show you what I've been doing. I'm just about to put the rods back out now for the, like, it's, I don't know, about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm going to put them back out now for the night, unless they go off in between now obviously. But this is what I've been doing. Right, been getting the hook baits, been drilling them out with the old Calder little drill thing you get in a set. Been putting double 18 millis on, drilled out. This is what I've been doing on 2 of the rods. The other rod I've just been putting a single hook bait on. But to be fair, both seems to be working because I've had fish on both the single and the doubles. But and then just put the old baiting needle up like that through the middle, and a piece of cork like that through the middle of that. Onto there, and the other boilie the same. So you've got the 2 boilies like that. Then just if it will stay on there. And just pull it through. It's one of the long, Calder long, I don't know if you can see that, one of the Calder like deep boilie stops. Put that on there like that, and then just pull the whole lot in, just to take a bit of the weight off the 2 boilies. So when they suck, well, the theory is when they suck, it goes back in a bit further than they expected it to. Right, I've also got, as you can see, an inline lead on here. The rules are here, you're not allowed to drop the lead. Personally, I'd prefer to drop the lead, but rules are the rules, so that's what I have to play by. And it's basically just an inline lead, obviously, with a quick change swivel in the bottom there, and then a cut down tail rubber, and the tubing pushed into the top of it. That's a 3-ounce lead, and that's what's been doing the business. It has to be that you can't drop the lead, but it has to be that in the event of a break off, the fish has to get away with just the rig or just whatever amount of lines broken off without the lead attached. So that's the system I've been using. I was going to go for a free running lead, but and I thought about it, and I thought myself that's going to like let them chuck that lead about, and it's barbless hooks here as well, so I didn't like the idea so much of a lead that's running up and down the line being chucked all over the place. So I went with this way of doing it. Problem it does cause, it gives you a bit of line twist, but what do, you know, you've got to find a way around it, and that's what I've been doing. Right, that's one of the rods. I'm just going to do the other 2 now and then get them back out on their spots. So what I'm putting out is, obviously the lead's in the boat and the rig's sitting there. First of all, I'm putting a bit of glugged boilie in the bottom, yeah, like that. Then it's alright, it's only me at the other rod that's there on getting them ready to put out. Right, a bit of glugged boilie in the bottom. Then I've got this mix here, which is that's boilie that's been glugged. Then it's crumbed up boilie, and Scratting's carp pellet. I think they're 6mm. And that is what's been doing the business for me. What I've been doing. It's getting a nice, good bit of bait down, as I do normally when I'm in France. And that is it. Now send it out to the spot. Obviously put the rig back in the boat like that, so it's all ready to go. And I've got my wellies on because I have to walk out a little bit to get the boat in. But yeah, so we're all ready to launch it out there and hope for the best. Right, let's have a look at the spots where we're fishing. The right hand rod, over the other side there, there's like an old, zoom in on it. It's an old, looks like an old jetty by the looks of it. If you can see that, just about in the middle of the frame there. That's where the right hand rod is, and it's about, I would say it's probably about 50 yards from the actual jetty. Now, if we swing round to the left, see that there? See that? There's like in the middle there, I don't know what that is, but it's there. That the middle rod, sorry, is straight at that. That's probably about 50 yards from that as well. And then what this seems to be, then let's just show you where the left hand rod is. And the left hand rod is at that tree there, which if I come back you'll see, and that's probably about 15 to 20 yards from that. And there seems to be along there's like a gully. It drops down to between 11 foot 8 and 12 foot there, and then if you go past that bit it starts riding up again towards the bank. So, and that's where I've been having the fish, in that gully bit there. They tell me there's 2 gravel bars out in front of this swim, one at 90 yards and one at 65 yards. Well, to be fair, I haven't found either of them. I found a bit of undulation out there with the sonar, but I've not actually found any gravel. Like, it's been either soft silt, there's a bit of weed out there, it's a strange weed here. I don't know what it is, I haven't come across it before, but it's got like, when you touch it, it's like it's prickly, it's spiky. I mean, that first fish I had Saturday night when I got here, bearing in mind that I was absolutely shattered, and it was like, I don't know, it was about 10:30, 11 at night or something. I was absolutely shattered from being up all that time and the rain and what have you. But that weed was prickly as hell, and I swear blind it stuck in my hand. But since then I've had it out and it is prickly. I haven't found any that is sharp enough to stick in my hand, but it's definitely got a prickly feel to it. As I say, I've never come across it before, so I don't know what it's called or whatever. But there you go. So they're the spots we're fishing. Hopefully it will kick off. Last night I had a bite at 7:15. No, 6:30, beg your pardon, it was 6:30. Yeah, it was bang on 6:30. I'll tell you why, because I was waiting for, well, I just actually put it on my phone. I was going to watch the highlights of the Formula 1 and the alarm went off. So that was that. But never mind, it was like a 41 pounder, so I weren't going to complain, although I did get a bit wet and what have you, and I was still a bit tired from the night before, but there you go. So yeah, so the bite times have sort of been a bit all over the place really. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I'm not complaining. 5 fish so far, 3 good carp, 2 cats.
You know, they're just part and parcel with it. If there's cats in the water, chances are you're going to get one or two anyway, with no matter what you do to try not to. But still, never mind. We'll carry on, and I'll let you know if anything happens. I'll talk to you about the bait as well tomorrow, show you what it is and that. But I'm going to go and get some, start getting my grub ready for tonight. I think it's, no, it's about 6 o'clock now. Time I'll do a bit of washing up and sorting out and stuff. It'll be time to put the grub on. Right, catch you later.
Hiya. Well, bit gutted after all the euphoria earlier on today with the 50. Just lost one. Bite time's about the same time as last night, just between 6 and half past. Had it on, the same thing, this bite you're getting here. It's just like you get this one little beep, and it sort of made me turn my head, and then I'll see the bobbin just rising slightly, then all of a sudden it went off into a screaming run. I've hit it, had it on, got a good bend in the rod, about 30 seconds he was on there, and that was it. After that, no good, gone. So, don't know what happened there. Hook must have pulled, you know, whether it never nailed it. Well, obviously it didn't nail him properly, but it's what it is, isn't it? That's why they call it fishing and not catching. But at the end of the day, it was still a bite off me baited area. I'll show you tomorrow on the sonar, and you can see that gully over there. That's definitely they're getting in there. I've had a few shows over that area and all, like along. I've got all 3 rods along that gully. And the owner Mendy's just been round, and he was saying there's some, so I'll show you in a sec, there's some snags over there that are new snags that only fell in the water about a month ago. And he said to me, he said if I was you I'd send the boat over there and see if you can get a bite over there. He said because he sees a lot of fish when he walks round you. We can't actually go on that bank, but when he walks round, he said he sees a lot of fish over there under there, big fish, so it might be worth seeing how far I can get the boat over there. I know when you go past that gully, it starts to go climb up again, and like it does on this side. So I haven't been right close to them, I just went towards them before, and I see it coming up, and I thought to myself, well, you know, is that the place to be? Because A, the bait could roll down the slope, and B, I would imagine the patrol route of the fish is at the bottom there. But there must be a sort of like a bit they like up there, because, well, snags and it, they just hide under them, don't they? So, is what it is, but I'm still well happy. I mean, I've been here, like, this is my 2nd day, and I've had 5 fish if you include the 2 cats, and carp wise nothing under 40, so can't grumble. Just hope something happens later, you know. Last night nothing happened during the night at all, not even a single beep. So we'll see what happens tonight. There has been movement, there's been like a bit of movement again this evening out there, so we'll see how we're doing. I'll show you those snags. See that tall tree there? Just come to the right, just down there, and that's where they are. Try and zoom in, see if we can see them. But they're the new snags. They're about a month old, he said, those ones. So that's them there. That's those new snags. And he said when he walks around in the morning he just sees loads of fish there, big fish. So I will try tomorrow. I won't do it now because the old light's starting to fade, and it's probably going to be a bit pointless, and I certainly wouldn't fish the snags like that during the night, not at that distance, even locked up. There's so much stretch on mono line, you're not allowed braid in here.
that you'd be dicing, wouldn't you? You know, just not worth the egg. But still, we'll give it a go in the day tomorrow and see if we can produce anything from it where I can be straight on the older rods. Right, well, unless anything happens, I'll see you in the morning. If not, it'll be dark, I should think. Right, catch you later. Right, well, I've had a double take. I've lost the other one, unfortunately, in the weed while I was scrapping with this one, because this put up a hell of a fight. But this one is at 33. Absolute amazing fight. Nice fish though, eh? Bit of a beast, but it's... I'm not sure what the time is, to be honest. I haven't looked at the clock, but yeah, turning into a hell of a trip, this one. Anyway, I'm going to get this back and I'll catch you in the morning. And let's get another take, of course. Right, we've got a common. That's the third rod gone off now. 22 pound. Not the biggest, but a pretty fish, no, nevertheless. If I can keep him still. Come on, you little sod. Nice, pretty little bar of gold, bar of gold, 22 pound. That's all 3 rods now gone off tonight. So that spot, that gully is definitely rocking out there now. Well, good morning. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning. Just gonna have a brew and some bickies. Well, yeah, that was a bit of action last night, wasn't it, eh? That first one, the 33, that was about 1 o'clock that went off. And that was an hard fighting 30. I couldn't believe that, how hard it fought. I really thought it was like a bit of a chunk catfish, to be honest. But what happened, I ran out, hit it, and then I was only playing it for about a minute. And then I see that was on my left hand rod, and then I see the middle rod, the bobbing going on it, and I thought, oh shit, he's picked up the other line, right, I'm going to have to sort this out right now. And then the fish I had on was kiting to the right, and I thought, hang on a minute, the rod tip on the middle one's going to the left. And then that started to run, and I thought, oh Jesus, now I've got a double take. So I was trying to get that one in the left hand rod quick, but there was no way it was coming in quick. I was just fighting and fighting and fighting it, and the other one done 2 or 3 runs and stopped, and then it done 1 big long run, and then it went dead. And at first, well, after I got the 33 in, then I went to that rod straight away. I put the 33 in a retainer sling, sent it out, and then went straight to that rod. And at first I thought I had the fish on, but what it turned out to be was it had got into a clump of weed, and the weed in here, it don't seem to be weed beds, there's just clumps here and there. They're not very big, and they come in easy, they don't snag you up or anything really. And I just pulled the clump of weed in, and like with barbless hooks, he's obviously just got away. But that's fishing, isn't it, you know? Can't plan it, and double take, well, what else could I do? And then the other one, the bar of gold, that was about, I think that was about 2:45 that went off. And
So in the end, it was all 3 rods that went off last night. So that gully over there, it is rocking. I've had to turn because the sun's behind me, otherwise you wouldn't see me. It'd be all dark. But yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some more action through the day today and into the night again. But so that's like 2 bites now I've had. Well, that one was a run and got off, and the other one was a run yesterday evening that I hit into it. Was on for about 30 seconds and the hook must have pulled because it was gone. So never mind. I'll show you the bait I'm using later on. It's caught a lot of big fish. It's definitely proven. So that's the second 50 I've had on it. That 50 I had yesterday. But, we've had loads of 40s, 30s, and that on it. Last year we had untold fish in France last year on it. So it's definitely worth using. Anyway, I'm going to drink my tea and have my bicky, and I'll catch you later. Oh yeah, well, the drama continues. I've just lost 2 to hook pulls within 10 minutes of one another. The first one, the left hand rod went off, and it went off in style big time. I've hit it and I could feel there was an absolute brute on there. I mean, it was pulling like I've not felt a fish pull like that for a long time. And it was kiting round to the right. I was playing it up, yeah, like this is alright going, yeah, perfect. Got it about 2/3 of the way in after about 10 minutes or so. Bosh. Fucking hook pulled. Right. So I was absolutely gutted because that was a lump. I mean, I know they always feel like lumps, but that was pulling. It was to the point, it was almost toppling me over at points. I tightened the clutch up and it started to pull me forward, so I backed the clutch off again a little bit, but yeah. And then I sent that back out with a boat, and just as the boat arrived on the spot, I just dropped it, the middle rod goes off. Right, same thing, shoots off, kites round to the right, got it about 2/3 of the way, and it didn't feel as heavy as the first one, but it still felt a good lump, you know. And anyway, got about 2/3 of the way round, same thing again, hook pulls. So what I've done now, I've changed rigs. I've gone to, last year I was using a rig when we was out at Vomini. I used this, it's just a rig I've come up with myself, but I used it all last year and it was like I never lost no fish at all, and I used it all through the winter. Perfect, no fish. I had quite a lot of fish through the winter on my club lake and that, and never lost nothing. And then I've been using the rigs that I showed you yesterday. I've been using them in the summer, and the rigs I've always used, you know. And anyway, what I think it is, I think that because I was using it with 2 boilies on a soft air where I'd strip the coating back, when I pulled that last one in, the hair had wound itself round the shank of the hook, and the 2 boilies were pressed up against the bend of the hook, and I think what's happened, I think it's used the 2 boilies, because they're hard hook baits, those, I make those separate, right, and I think it's used those to force the hook out, because it's a barbless hook, it's just coming out easy. And so what I've done now, I've gone back to the ones I was using last year, which I'll now show you. Right, this is what I was using last year. Basically, what it is just a stiff hook link with a tungsten impregnated sleeve on, and on here I do a loop, I don't know if you can see that. I do a loop and I leave the loop stiff and I put a little hook link ring swivel on it. Now when you look at this, what this does, this is all my theory by the way, what this does is, if you see how that sits, so you're pulling against a fish, that's pulling, that hook is going in all the time. Yeah, this allows them, when they suck and blow, that allows the bait to be blown out of the way. And I think because this is a stiff hook link, I don't strip anything back there, I just leave it stiff. I think they find it difficult to deal with and it's difficult to blow out. So what happens, that bait drops down like that, and then you've got that nice angle where you're pulling on that and that's digging in and it's going in. That's my theory anyway. And as I say, last year I had a load of fish. I had 18 fish out and it worked perfectly, and I used it all through the winter, worked perfectly. So I'm changing over to that now. Well, I have changed over to that, and hopefully we'll pray for another take and it'll work. It's just a waiting game now, see what happens. But that gully out there is definitely rocking. When I had the boat out and the finder out, it was like you could see there's fish in there. There was some smaller fish out there, but there was fish out there, bigger fish, and there was fish up in the layers out there. So it's definite a spot, good spot. Oh, it's killing me. Yeah, it's definitely a great spot to be in, and there's loads of bait out there now. So I just keep at it. Hopefully we'll get another take, but this is what I had yesterday, take around lunchtime, and this I've had 2 takes around lunchtime today. So maybe bite time's over for now, I don't know. The next bite time is the evening time, round between sort of 6:30 and 7, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to go drink that tea that I've just made. I'll catch you later. Right, well, been up and had a shower and all that. Got my tea out of the fridge up there, brought some more boilie down out of the freezer and that. I've got the rods back out on the spots now. They've, I suppose they've been out for about 2.5 hours, but when I've just put the boat out on the old sonar, there's loads of fish out there. So hopefully, come bite time, which will be the evening bite time now, is about 2 hours away. Hopefully, we'll get a take or two. Be nice. I've got all them other rigs on all 3 rods now. I'm fully confident in what we're doing, and we know the bait's been working, we know the method of application I've been using's been working, so it's just a matter now of see what happens. Meantime, I'm just going to finish my beer and sit back and wait. That's about all we can do at the moment. There's not any shows at the moment. Normally the last couple of days there's been shows over that area, but at the moment there's not. But there's definitely fish there, I've seen them, and they're there up on the bottom and up through the layers as well. So I think they're getting used to that smell being out there and the food being out there, and they're coming to it, because the first couple of days up here, although I caught fish, when the boat went out I didn't see nothing. So I must have got like stragglers coming by, you know. But hopefully now they're onto that bait, and well, amount of takes I've had. Just a shame that I lost them 2 earlier, but that's why they call it fishing, isn't it? Not catching. But never mind. Try again. That's the answer. We've made some changes, so hopefully it won't happen again. Right, I'm going to finish my beer, and hopefully the next time I see you, it will be with one in the old sling. We shall see. Alright, catch you later. Right lads, tea time is bite time. Just a shade over 31 this one, but can't get him to calm down. But at the end of the day, it's still a fish, and it was nailed as well. No problem with the rig this time. There we go. Oh, yeah, just a tad over 31. Nice fish, eh? Right, bang on bite time. Just getting on for tea time. Just approaching 6 o'clock, and off it went. Same thing, single beep, then just rattled off. Right, I'm going to put this back and get that rod back in. Well, that was right on cue, wasn't it? It's generally been just the one bite around this time in the evening. Although last night I did have two, I lost one, didn't I? And I got one. But generally it's been one bite, and I suspect that is probably the one bite. But even so, well worth catching. Strength of these fish is unreal. They all seem to have that big paddle on them. I don't know what strain they are, but they're definitely strong, and they've got plenty of stamina. It took me quite a while to get that in. I thought it was bigger than that when I was playing it, but there you go. Still, I ain't complaining. I mean, that's, what's that now? That's 6, isn't it? 6 carp? Yeah, that's 2 40s, a 50, 2 30s and a 20. Can't moan about that, can you? And the 2 cats. So that's 8 fish. Well placed. So it's worth coming to here, like. It's 15 acres. It's allowed, if you book it as a lake exclusive, you're allowed 8 people. If you book it just you, like I've done, just, you know, take your chances, whoever's there, it's 7 people. But there's only 7 swims. So, oh no, I think, no, there's 8 swims, sorry, is there 8? 7 or 8? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, there's 7, yeah. I think 5 of them are doubles. I mean, this is quite big, this is about 30 foot across this swim. And what happens is, say I was fishing, there was 2 of us fishing in here. The swim to my left, which is a double, only 1 person's allowed to fish, 2 can't fish it. So it's sort of, it's done pretty fair really. They have as well, some weeks you can use bait boats, some weeks you can't. I purposely chose a bait boat week because I like to use a bait boat. I mean, I know what people say and all that, but like I bring 50 key of boilie and 25 key of pellet to these venues, and spodding that out, that's a killer. You know, or putting it out with a throwing stick. Obviously you can't put pellet out with a throwing stick, but if you're putting that out manually, that is heavy going, and I'm afraid that's too heavy going for me these days, you know. Like my club lakes, I'll put probably, normally I'm only there for the weekend, so I'll probably put maybe a kilo out when I get there, 1.5 kilos, you know, over 3 rods depending what it, or 2, it's not 3 rods, sorry, you're only allowed 2, 3 in the winter. So it just depends, but you know, that's quite tiring just putting that out. You're probably putting like, I don't know, 30 spoms out, well, after a week's work, and then banging out 30 spoms at 100 yards or whatever is pretty heavy going. So like, I like, when I come over here, I like to use the boat. In fact, I don't go to a venue unless it's, you can use the boat. There's no meal package here, it's purely drive and survive. So what I've done, I've brought like enough stuff. Tomorrow I'll have to go supermarket tomorrow. I've like done a couple of pre-cooked meals. I brought with me and some other stuff and that, and I've got like a really good cool bag, and I've got loads of those ice blocks. And what I do, I mean, you could put something in the freezer anyway when you get here. There's a fridge here, a big fridge. Put some in there, so it's not going to go off or anything. I mean, when I got here, stuff was still frozen, easily still frozen. So I just went and put some in the freezer, like, and I've been thawing it out, some in the fridge, and going on like that. But It's definitely a pleasant place. It's a bit, if you're into this where the swims are all barked out and they're all nice and comfy like your living room, then forget it. It's not that sort of a fishery. They're a bit, I wouldn't say rough and ready, but they're not like, what can I say? They're not actually perfect. But I like it like that, you know. The place we was at last year, it's like unbelievable. That's like being out in the wilds fishing there. And it's all surrounded by trees and that, so you're sort of out in the woods a bit and what have you. And the road's only over past the other side of the lake, but round here you get the feel of being in the woods and that, and a bit in the wild. So if that's your thing, then yeah. But if you want to go to somewhere where it's all like all laid out for you and everything's, you know, there's a set place you put your bivvy and your swim's all nicely barked and flat as a pancake and all that, then don't come here. But as for the fish, yeah, can't fault the fish. I mean, whatever that was I lost this morning, that was really pulling. But, you know, hi-ho. Maybe get another chance at hooking something like that, I don't know, we'll see. But at the moment I'm pleased as pickled herring anyway, what I've had. And all on my own bait as well. I make my own bait. It's a fish meal bait. Call it the SLS. Me and the lads use it. Took 2 years to get it right. So, and I don't make my own bait for cheapness or anything like that. I make it because I want, it's part of fishing for me, making my own bait, having bait that's different to everybody else's, you know. And then the buzz you get, like when you sort of, and it does pick up big fish without a doubt. I mean, everywhere we've been, we've had big fish on it, and it seems to single them out as well. But it is highly nutritious. It's not full of semolina and shit like some of them are. I mean, there's some out there that are like charging you $12.99 a kilo and they're full of breadcrumb. And although there's a bit of flavour basically, then they're telling you to buy some glug to put the goodness into it. Well, all that goodness is already in mine. And then I make separate hook baits that make them so they're harder hook baits. The feed baits, I make them softer so they leak off and you get the leakage from them. I mean, people going on about drying out their boilies and all that. I understand, like when you're out on the bank you might have to dry them out a bit because of getting them to last a week or whatever, freezer baits, but people do it before they've even put them in the freezer. Now, to me, I don't see the point in that, because why put all those fluids into it? You put the fluids into it because you want them to leak out, and then dry them all out again. Don't put them in the first place if that's the case, you know. And then they speak how wonderfully they rehydrate them and all that. Well, to me, I want that bait out there leaking off all that goodies I put into it as soon as possible. And all I do is I just, when I'm doing like a trip like this, I just vary the cooking a little bit. Maybe like some of them I'll boil for a minute 30, some I'll boil for a minute 40, some I'll boil for a minute 45, and that way they break down at different times and I mix them all up. They break down. I don't worry if, like for instance, sometimes I let some come out like barrel shapes and all that, because it don't matter. You're putting them out with a boat, it makes no odds. And at the end of the day, it just mixes it all up a bit, doesn't it? I let the hook baits do the same. And it works for us, you know. I mean, we've had carp to £50. That was the second £50 we've had on it. We've had umpteen 40s on it. We've had cats to 89 on it. We've had sturgeon to 72 on it. So it's like, it does catch big fish, and we're over the moon with it. Don't take anything else, just go with that. It's a winter bait. Sorry, it's not a winter bait, it's a summer bait. I've got a different one for the winter, which worked very well last year. But this one, summer fishing, and early like in the spring when they all start to wake up and come back, yeah, it is the stuff. And especially like late like this, like coming towards the autumn and that end of summer, sort of September, early October, when they're trying to pack a bit of weight on to see them over the winter. it definitely works. I'm not saying that, oh, you'll go to a lake, turn up and chuck one in and you're going to catch the biggest fish in the lake, because you're not. If they're not feeding, they're not feeding. But if they are feeding, or you can say find them wherever they are and they're up for a feed, the big ones will go for it. But we've watched them in the margins. You can see them. You put some in the margins and you'll see like a pack come along, and the big ones will push the smaller ones out of the way to get to it. So, and this tactic I've been using lately with this, using this pellet, bit of this Scratton's carp pellet, and crumb up some boilie, then glug some boilie, mix it all together and put it out with my special little hook baits. I do add a little bit more attractor in the attractor package in the hook baits. Some of the ingredients are bloody expensive, and the one I put in the hook baits, that is expensive, but it certainly seems to draw them to it, so it's all worth doing. They'll tell you, you know, you can't put this with that, you can't do this with that and all that, but it's all a matter of trial and error. And once you get it working, and sometimes it's just the minutest little changes to the recipe, but once you get it working, it is so satisfying to say, like, you've nailed a chunk like that on something. You've researched it all, done it all yourself, you know. And for me, that's all part of the fishing. It's easy, isn't it, to go in the shop and buy a bag of boilies yourself or whatever you're going to use, and yeah, you know, if you're happy with that, then fine, it's not a problem. But just my personal thing is I like to do the whole lot, you know. But anyway, I'm going to drink my can of beer. I would think the tea time bite time is over now, and I may possibly see you in the night. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Well, it looks like it might be good for a bite tonight. They're definitely showing over the spots out there. Pant a pinch of shit, they ain't going to show while the camera's on, but they are definitely out and about out there. So I reckon we're going to get some action during the night tonight. So one bite, evening bite time, which has been pretty normal really. I did have 2 last night, but that was the only time. All lake's flat calm now, and it'll be getting dark soon. The old light's starting to fade. We just have to see what happens. I've got everything set for the night anyway, so that I don't have too much messing about if I get a take, if I'm lucky enough. We'll just see what happens. And got loads of bait knocked up and that. Well, what I have been doing, when I've been getting a take during the night, I've been resting the rod, I've been taking the rod out, so just to rest the swim, to not cause too much disturbance out there, because I don't want to frighten them away, like, you know. I want to keep them milling around out there. That's why I've got all that pellet and all the crumb out there, to keep them going around looking for the taste and that. Hopefully that's working. Oh, there's a little coot or whatever it is on his Jack Jones there, coming across. He comes backwards and forwards all day long, this one. He's obviously going out doing his shopping or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to go and do my grub now, and maybe watch a bit of YouTube or something to see if I can get signal. Sometimes you get signal here, sometimes it's good enough, sometimes it's not. We'll just see how it goes. Right, if I don't see you in the night, see you in the morning.